Hello.
Howdy.
Hi. Welcome to Hugo, Girls Gone Wild, the podcast where we discuss the hottest romances of science fiction, fantasy, and horror. I'm Lori.
I'm Haley.
I'm Amy.
And today we're talking about the 2008 blockbuster film, Twilight, based on the novel Twilight by Stephanie Meyer.
It's a little-known genre film.
Which spurred such offshoots?
Spinoffs?
Spin-offs.
Spin shoots.
Ah, yes, 50 Shades of Grey, which we were going to discuss today. But then I was very upset by the second half of it.
Oh, you weren't the only one.
Very dark. Well, and I was going to say I communicated my upset, and my two nice friends were like, maybe we don't do it. And
I'm so glad I didn't have to finish it.
I was going to say my favorite thing was when you said, I would love to not have to finish reading this book. So we're going to go straight to the source material, which really, why didn't we do that in the first place?
Honestly,
it's
yes.
genre.
Always go with primary sources.
It's romance. It's got everything, including awards. I was surprised to see that this movie won a shitload of awards. And if I listed them all, that would be the whole podcast. So I've picked a few that were interesting to me. The MTV Movie Award for Best Movie. The MTV and Teen Choice Award for Best Kiss and Best Lip Lock, respectively.
Which of the two kisses did they like? There was two kisses in this movie.
I have no idea.
Two tongueless kisses. And it would remain only kisses until the third movie?
But one was pantsless.
True.
That's true. And then the MTV Movie Award and Teen Choice Award for Best Fight and Best Rumble, respectively. Rumble. I actually had to look it up. I was like, do you mean fight?
It looks like a group fight.
That was two different awards, the fight and the rumble?
Yeah. MTV Movie Award for Best Fight and the Teen Choice Award for Best Rumble.
Got it. Okay.
I think in 2008, that'd be the youngest millennials were in high school. I'm sure they'd be like, this is the best thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
No Razzies, actually. Some of the sequels were Razzie finalists, but not this one. And an Alma Award for hairstyling, which was truly a sign of the times.
I mean, K-Stu does have good hair in this.
I mean, it's a good wig.
I like Jacob's wig, too.
Jacob's wig. I have to tell you, when I was watching this movie, I was like, these wigs are appalling. So then I felt bad.
Wig is one of the worst things I've ever seen.
Oh, yeah.
I felt bad when I saw that someone got an award for it. I was like, I don't want to be mean. But I was, woof.
Wig technology has come.
Maybe it's all the
way.
kids on the res. They all have really good hair.
That's true.
Except for poor Jacob and his wig.
And his middle part wig.
I didn't notice his wig.
He's got a half up wig. It's like it's like a early Game of Thrones Daenerys wig.
Or like a Founding Fathers almost.
It kind of has that shape, that volume.
Yeah.
That volume that no one really has. Okay. Those are the awards. I don't have any housekeeping. Do you guys have any housekeeping?
No one's reviewed us because they don't love us.
All right. Are we ready for the plot summary?
Yes.
Sure are.
I'm not. I struggled. I was thinking about how it's hard for me to like really evaluate this movie because I'm so familiar with it. It's like asking a fish, like, what's it like to swim in the water? And the fish is like, I don't know. And if you're like, what's Twilight about? I'm like, I don't you know? So here we go. For the uninitiated. 17-year-old Bella Swan moves to Rainy Forks, Washington to live with her mustache dad because her lovable but negligent mother chooses her new husband over Bella's well-being. Upon arriving at her new school, Bella soon encounters a very pale but alluring elderly man named Edward who can't stand the sight or smell of her. He gaslights her for a while, which honestly seems fine given the circumstances, but he eventually confesses that he is a vampire, and rather than being grossed out by her, he actually wants to kill and eat her. One time in the school cafeteria, he deftly catches an apple. As you can imagine, these things make her very horny. They start dating, and Bella gets hurt a lot and bleeds, and everyone wants to eat her, but she feels fine about it. I kept wondering when her dad might be like, why are you always coming home with stitches? But he is too busy drinking Rainiers and cleaning his shotgun and growing his luscious mustache.
He's so hot.
He's cute.
Anyway, at one point, the vampires play a supermassive black hole high kick baseball game. where they meet some other vampires who are also horny to eat Bella, except for Laurent, who is pretty nice, and to be honest, he could get it.
He could.
Bad vampire James lures Bella to her childhood ballet studio where he breaks her leg and bites her, and in order to save her life, Edward barely conquers his thirst for her blood while his father, a doctor, provides irresponsible moral support. Then they go to the prom and it's cute. Then New Moon auto-played and I couldn't look away, so I might get confused about what happened in which movie. The end.
Yay.
I thought it was pretty good.
Thank you. All right. If there are no edits, then do we have lols from Letterboxd?
Oh my God. I couldn't decide. I have too many.
It's fine. It's fine.
I'm going to have to pick on the fly.
This may be. I just copied. This may be a super massive sized episode.
Okay.
Because
That's fine.
it's fine. Let's just do it.
I only have 2, but I feel strongly about them.
All right. Go, Amy.
Oh man, which one to pick?
Just do it. Just do it.
Okay.
Well, actually, if Haley only has 2, maybe Haley should go first.
One short.
Well, I don't need to do all. I'm not going to do all. Mine.
Okay.
I'm not. Nobody wants to hear all these.
Maybe Letterboxd will start sponsoring us.
But I liked this one. C gave it 2 stars and said, "This bitch is dramatic as fuck, constantly shaking like a crusty white dog named Coco."
What does that mean?
You know those little white dogs that are
Yeah.
like,
Crusty white dogs.
Oh, shaking! I thought shaken, like shake N-E-N, and I was like, oh,
My
who
second,
shook her?
my second favorite one was by Annika, who gave it 3 stars, and she said, "Why does Bella have to choose just one butch lesbian when she could have both?"
Oh, in 2008, we weren't there yet.
That's true.
All right, Haley.
To continue the gay theme from Z, the moment Bella got excited over being given a matte orange truck was the instant all her heterosexual credibility was lost. Just in case people were having their doubts, as though anyone other than a plant lesbian would bring one special cactus all the way from Arizona to Forks.
I read a really good BuzzFeed because K-Stu said this one was gay coded, and so there's somebody who found all the gay scenes, and that
Yeah.
was definitely one of them. The truck.
And then my other one is from Adam. He says, the main girl is always falling down, hurting herself. Such a big focus is placed on how clumsy. She's like, oh, I can't play volleyball. Oh, I can't go surfing. That's funny.
And yet they take her back to her dance studio. Least believable part of the whole movie.
Well, I think that's why at one point someone's like, you did ballet?
She's like, yeah.
Okay. Robin gave it 2.5 stars and said, I've got 99 problems with this movie, but the supermassive black hole baseball scene ain't one. And then someone whose handle is just the lollipop emoji gave it 5 stars and said, Edward requesting a schedule change because one person smells bad is such a mood.
I have to do one more.
Do it.
Because this really sums up my feelings about this movie. Jiba gave it 4 stars and said, I know I just gave this movie 2 stars the first time I watched it, and then I'm giving it 4 stars now, but just because I'm rating it 4 stars doesn't mean it isn't still a 2-star movie. I might watch it again and give it half a star. I'll give it 5 stars next time. Who knows?
The reviews are so funny. I read them for like half an hour last night. I was just like laughing myself sick reading them.
Letterboxd reviews are up there with TikTok comments for the funniest place on the internet right
So
now.
funny.
So good.
Everybody brings out their best material.
True.
So good. Okay, general discussion.
Well, you just mentioned Edward asking for a schedule change because of Bella's smell.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to know if you guys ever hold your breath so you don't have to take in somebody's walk-by smell or walk-by air.
I saw that thing you posted. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do.
It's so true.
Sometimes people smell.
So I mean, sometimes you don't know, and so you have to think ahead of time. Like,
Well, it's less about the smell. Like if someone walks by me and they're coughing, then I might hold my breath until I sort of feel their walk-by breeze pass over me.
you have to wait until the waft is gone.
Yeah, you
and
can feel it.
Then you can breathe again.
You can feel it. On the subject of the smell, why is her smell a big deal? Because he doesn't need to breathe, does he?
These are really good points.
I think we can't dig too deep into the physics or that's the breakdown.
I guess the inside of his
This
nose
is soft
still
science
works.
fiction.
He doesn't need to breathe, but he can still scent things, right? Like
think- yeah, 'cause he's
not
Like a snake or
it's
something.
not blood oxygen. It's like hunting.
Yeah, he's a hunter and she's his heroine or whatever. I
You're
don't think
my
heroin smells
personal
good.
heroine, Bella. Yeah, there was something in the book about it. Like there was one particular person who every vampire like can't. It's like that's what he means. Like, you're my personal heroine. This is like the perfect blood for him or something like that.
Oh, I don't remember that. I have read the book. I have read
I vaguely remember that.
all of the books.
I have also read all of the books.
I read them voraciously and with a good amount of shame when I was a grown woman in law school.
They're page turners, man.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason that they're some of the most popular books ever.
I read them at the age of at least 28. So
I have said to both of my husbands, "You'll never love me enough to disconnect my car battery." And both of them were like, "That's right, I won't." Yeah.
You know, the phenomenon of women reading books like these, and maybe it reminds me of a TikTok I saw where like, do guys read fun books?
I don't know what that means.
Like
you like
boys'
men's
adventure fiction and
Well,
men's
yeah, but
adventure
like,
fiction?
but they all have like the heft of seriousness.
That's because they're for men. It's fake. They're wearing a costume of seriousness. Ringworld? Come on.
I was having a whole conversation recently about romance and why men aren't permitted to enjoy romance.
Yeah, why is that?
Yeah, I don't know. They're not supposed to have feelings, I guess.
What's funny though is that because I read a lot of men's adventure fiction, but there's sex scenes in them, but they're very like transactional. It's not like a wooing situation. It's more like a.
This reminds me of another Letterboxd review that said, it feels like fan fiction written by a girl who's quirky and not like other girls.
Oh,
Which I think is probably true.
I had to write 3 pages about pick-me girls today for work.
What's a pick-me girl?
It is a girl that puts other girls down so that she appeals to men in the room so that she can get picked.
You know what Bella's not? A pick-me girl.
No, she's not. She's herself.
She's not.
That's right.
Is that like a real thing or is that like just a mean thing that people say about women?
It is something that younger girls say about other girls quite frequently in the younger generations.
Girls, stop being mean to each other.
Yeah.
I know. It's basically internalized misogyny pitting girls against each other.
Yeah.
So.
Boo to that.
Yep.
Okay, next question about vampire life. And anyone feel free to interject at any point. I don't feel controlling about this general discussion. Why don't the Cullens just wear a little makeup like they do in Death Becomes Her?
Spray tans.
Like,
they could do so much.
I mean, Death Becomes Her was already a movie by 2008 when they were
came
in
out in
Forks.
91.
Like, why didn't they watch that and go, oh?
I didn't get the impression they were watching a lot of movies.
What do you think you do if you live forever, though?
There is
Just listen to Debussy.
Well, so there is a sci-fi novella or a short novel that I read a couple years ago where basically people stop sleeping because of a drug. And you know what they do with all that time? They go to law school and become lawyers.
Oh, that's a horror. That's a horror novella.
Yeah, can you imagine? But like how good you would do in law school if you never had to sleep?
These kids just keep going back to high school.
I know.
What
the
is
wall
happening?
of the caps.
I mean, they could. He was like, oh, they say it's like so they can stay in a place for longer. But like you could go to college. Like if everyone went to college,
have a
then
job.
they could like live there for another 4 years.
I think that's what they do. They go to high school and then college and then leave.
They go to college? Because
I don't know.
Jasper's in college at some point.
no, they all walk into the high school
Yeah,
together.
they're all in high
At some
school.
point,
Yeah.
Jasper's in college. At some point.
Oh.
I think it would help if they actually looked like child actors and not 25-year-olds. So.
Jiminy Christmas, right?
Oh my God, yeah. They come into the cafeteria and Robert Pattinson is the only one of them who's even like vaguely teen looking.
Those are grown ass.
Alice works in marketing.
Rosalie, come on.
Rosalie.
She's in PR.
Rosalie and Emmett.
Monkey
Emmett's
Man?
like-
Her Monkey Man?
Emmett's like a retired injury football player.
I like that y'all know their names. This is how I describe them. We've got the hot zaddy Dr. Carlisle, his nice wife with the big forehead, Alice and her Confederate soldier boyfriend, the bro vampire, and the mean one.
Oh, I forgot he was a Confederate soldier.
How can you forget?
Yeah.
Isn't that how he became a vampire?
How come he's a new vampire if he's...
He's a new vegetarian.
Oh, he's been a vampire for a while.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's had that blood. He's had a taste and he wants some
That's
more.
why he wants to eat Bella more than anybody else. Okay, got it.
You know, the first time I heard about, well, the idea of vampires choosing not to kill humans isn't new, but it's such an interesting take on it, and I think it's always interesting. True Blood,
Angel.
Angel, yeah.
In so many ways, Angel walked so that Edward could run fast.
really,
Catch
really
a baseball.
fast. And
As if you could
gleam
catch
in the
me.
sun.
As if you could catch me. As if you could beat me.
Back to the skin tone. And when they're inside, they look less creepy. When they're outside and like that blue filter is like really dominating, they look extra
God
white.
bless.
Yeah, sometimes they don't look so bad.
Yeah.
And sometimes they look dead, which, they are. Oh, but their necks don't look dead. Their faces will be super, super white, but it's like they forgot to go
I forgot
all
to
the
look
way
I
down
was
the neck.
gonna look and see if they had foundation on their hands.
Their necks look pretty normal, and I mean, who among us has not matched her makeup to her neck?
I mean,
Haley probably has never had that problem.
Ears also. People don't match their ears.
Oh,
It's very funny.
It seems like it's better now than like 2007 when people had like orange faces, like
Yeah.
Oompa Loompas.
It's not nearly as bad as the early aughts, which were kind to no one. Yeah, there's a lot that they do that I have a lot of questions about.
kind of amateur hour over there.
I mean, okay, why do they keep going back to high school? They're not putting on their spray tans. Why? I asked this on the group chat. Why are they always hunting in their Sunday best? Like, I feel like I would take my clothes off if I was going to be running around after a deer.
They're very wealthy. They
They're
probably
fancy,
just throw them away
yeah.
and get more.
Yeah.
Seems uncomfortable. I guess they don't sweat.
I love their little family, though. They seem like they all get along and they're really nice.
I was thinking, though, like, what
They're
are
cute.
the odds that your vegetarian dad saves the life of someone and that person's like, yeah, I'll be a vegetarian, and then you guys fall in love? Like, the odds that there's two couples, because they weren't,
Wait, say that again?
were they couples? Were Rosalie and Emmett already a couple? We know Alice and Jasper
I
were
figured
not.
they picked each other. Like, they picked like, I want that one.
Anna Kendrick says when
Like
she's introducing
Darla.
them, it's kind of weird that they're stepbrothers or whatever, and they're dating. They're like, well, they're not related. They're like, no, but they live together. It's weird.
Anna Kendrick is sort of a stand-in for the audience. She's like, yeah, it's like weird.
I don't think Anna Kendrick gets enough props for her role in
she's
this movie.
so
She's
funny.
so good in this
She's
movie.
so funny. I love her review of the zombie movie that they go see. She's like, yeah, I get it's like your clever self-referential joke about consumerism and like, oh, women love to shop. Well, not all girls. It's so funny. She looks at Bella and she's like, apparently. It's so funny. Yeah, she is hilarious, and I do think she's kind of a stand-in for the skeptics in the audience.
There was one Letterboxd review that was like, Anna Kendrick never knows exactly what movie she's in, but she's doing the work. Like, I was like, yeah.
That's so true.
Yeah.
She leans in no matter what she thinks she's doing.
I have a question about, so they have to spend all this time in school. At a certain point, there's like, they've been in high school for 50 years. Do they have to study anymore? Or do they just like know the answers to everything?
These are good questions.
That is a good question.
Knowledge does continue to expand.
That's true.
There's an interesting, I guess their science is outdated. There's a interesting storyline on Doctor Who about a couple of humans who end up with Time Lord lifespans, and they can't remember things because a Time Lord brain is designed to live for that long and remember all this stuff, but a human
yeah.
brain isn't.
That's how I feel now.
So actually, Arya
I can't remember
from
being 13.
Game of Thrones, she doesn't even remember how she got to be how she is because her
That's
mind
right.
doesn't hold all of that.
Yeah.
So I wonder, is there something about the vampire mind that helps you remember? Or
Okay.
would you after about like 80, 90 years, you're like, I gotta clear some stuff out
Yeah.
and replace some stuff.
I don't know what I had for lunch on Monday.
Forget some phone numbers.
What do you guys think Edward wore to high school in the 70s?
Ooh.
Do you think they still have all of those clothes? Do you think that they're like, everything old is new again? It always, every 20 years it comes back
I mean, they've seen it happen over and over
They
again.
just box it up and they're like hippie stuff and they're like mom jeans and high waist and they probably have them in boxes.
They
and
probably
they
do.
can just go
I could
dust them
see
off.
him in a leisure suit.
Do you think that during the pandemic they'd have to do like Zoom school? And they're just like, oh my God.
I can't even get sick.
Wait, could they hunt during the pandemic? Is COVID catching if you're a vampire?
I guess they're eating like deer and stuff.
Remember how Edward died of the Spanish flu? Yeah. And I was
That's
thinking,
right.
I wonder if all the Twihards were like, of course COVID is real. Of course we need to wear masks. Look what happened to Edward last time this happened.
Poor Edward.
So Carlisle is just making these choices for these children, right?
Slash 100-year-old adults.
Like, but Edward
like
was a
choosing for them
child
to
when
not
he made
die.
that choice for
Yeah.
him.
Yeah.
That's true. But I think if the choice is dying, maybe some people would want it.
Yeah, but that's not.
But you
You turned him into a monster. He didn't choose that.
Yeah, he doesn't like being a vampire. He feels really bad about it.
Yeah.
Plus, you're asking somebody. Well, to the extent that he did ask, the person is under duress.
That's
you
true.
know,
And a child.
you don't really
you can't
have
consent. You cannot enter into a
and
contract.
you
with
don't
that
really
contract.
have you don't have time to really explore what does this mean when you say do you want to save me? Well, yes, but you're not like, but you're immortal soul.
Plus, when you're 17, as we know from all these children who go to college and get credit cards, you cannot make choices like this. You don't have foresight when you have no frontal lobe.
I feel better about Carlisle saving his life versus Bella begging to spend eternal life with the guy she's known for 6 months.
It's fate.
Yeah.
Haley.
Yeah, man,
it's
it's been like a week, and she was like, "He's my life," and I was like,
irretrievably in love with
You
him.
have so many hormones when you're
That's true.
that age. It's too bad.
Would you guys choose to be a vampire if it was offered to you? Does it depend on which franchise you're in?
Can I be a vegetarian?
Sure.
It would depend
Maybe.
on my life situation. I like my life right now, and I think it would complicate things. But if I was like really unhappy, maybe.
I also want to do
Interesting
stuff
that you
during the
choose to
day.
do it if you were unhappy and not if you were happy. Fascinating.
Well, because if I'm, like I like my friends and my girlfriend and my job, but like I'd have to watch all of you die.
yeah.
Oh, that's a big thing to think about.
It would be weird to like never share a meal with you guys ever again.
Mm-hmm.
It would be weird to never sleep again. I don't know.
That would be weird.
But if I was like,
I'd still lay my ass down.
if I was
lay down sometimes.
if I was down and out, I would consider it.
That's fascinating. I think I have a big desire to see how everything goes.
Oh, same.
So there's a big part of me that would really like to live forever. But all that other stuff is kind of hard. Like
Yeah.
people would come and go so much more. And that's hard.
It would be hard, I think, to keep up because everything is so digital now. Like, how do you create a new birth certificate? Like, they say that they have to start leaving Forks because Carlisle's supposed to look 10 years older than he does. And I'm like, people start.
Wowee, are you ever right about that? And his medical license, his medical degree, they're
Yeah.
probably really good forgers.
You'd have to be, but you have all that time and you don't sleep. So maybe
I wonder
you'd
if
be good
there's
at
a
it.
cabal of vampire forgers that give them new social security cards and stuff every so often.
I would read a book about that, kind of like the Continental and John Wick, like the like underworld.
Yeah, like the logistics.
Yeah.
Who's taking care of the logistics?
If there was like guaranteed like help in the process, I would consider it maybe more.
Yeah, I guess they must be really good forgers. Like, how are Carlisle and Mrs. Carlisle, how are they enrolling these kids in school? They have to show they have custody of them.
Social security cards, yeah.
Birth certificates. There have to be, if they're like, oh, I'm his foster father, then presumably there's a birth certificate with someone else's name on it.
Maybe they use their predator wiles to like convince people. It's like, these are not the droids you're looking for.
A glamour.
A glamour,
They use
yeah,
a
the
glamour.
I don't think we have, glamour is not canon in Twilight.
Which movie is Glamour? Is it Buffy? Glamours are big in one
Well,
movie.
Dracula can do
like Mind Stuff, but it's called
a glamour,
Glamoring
I
in
think.
one movie. Maybe
also
it's
in
True
What
Blood.
We Do in the Shadows.
Yeah.
He goes, vampire hypnosis. Okay, speaking of What We Do in the Shadows, I wanted to know when Edward took Bella to the restaurant in Port Angeles and she was eating and he was not. And I was like, what will happen if he eats? Will he throw up like they do?
Yeah.
Where they're like propelling themselves into the air.
They address this. Because at some point, Edward eats a piece of pizza in the books. I don't know if it happens in the movies or not. And at some point, he's like, this tastes gross. And then at some point, he has to throw it up because he can't digest it.
He has to throw it up.
So I don't know how his muscles work to throw it up, but don't work to digest it.
What I want to know is if he can't digest it, what would happen if he didn't throw it up? Like,
I think it would just sit there.
it would just sit there and
Molder.
feel like a brick in his
Just
stomach.
molder.
That is similar to the question of how does a zombie digest brains?
I assume.
Do they poop out brains?
They just oozed into their system or something.
Yeah, it just provides like, brains at the Kroger on Wilmington Island in Savannah, Georgia, the one I grew up going to, in the potted meat section, they had pork brains.
Sure.
And I looked at the label once because I was curious, and there's like 10,000 pieces of cholesterol in it or whatever. So there's a lot of energy.
Yeah.
So zombies may not be. I wonder if they're all the way dead because sometimes they just have a virus.
Well, they're
That's true.
undead, but so is a vampire.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Again, I think it depends on your franchise.
If you're a zombie or a vampire, we want to hear from you. Write in, let us know, how do you digest or not?
Yeah. Or you could say it's none of our business.
No, don't do that. Tell us. We want to know.
Tell us. We want the gory details.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay. In Port Angeles, I like the scene where he rescues Bella from the hooligans by pulling up and sort of drifting in his
Volvo? In a
Volvo. But do you know what that is a callback to, in my opinion?
What?
When Bobby Ray saves Miss Chichi Rodriguez
yeah.
in his shining pickup truck from the group of toughs
It's the
in
same.
Tuong Fu.
Love that
Which
Chi-Chi.
movie came first? Tu Wong Fu, right?
Fu.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
1995 for sure.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I can guarantee you that Stephanie Meyer did not watch Tu Wong Fu.
Oh, we can't know.
Maybe whoever made the movie did.
That's true.
Night and
Catherine
Shining
Hardwicke seems
pickup-
like a Tu Wong Fu kind of lady to me. I regret that she didn't make the rest of the movies.
I was reading Stephanie Meyer's Wikipedia page today, and it talks about her Mormonism and how she doesn't drink or smoke or watch R-rated movies, which is fascinating. But I wonder if the filmmaker was like, well, we got to have him drinking Rainier beer. That's just part of his mustache character.
That's half their money for the movie.
Yeah.
She doesn't watch R-rated movies, so I know these aren't R-rated movies, but Breaking Dawn, the last one, is fucking disturbing.
Break the bed.
They break the bed, but they don't show anything.
Also, when she gives birth.
Oh, yeah.
She's laying on that table and like that she's shot from above. I haven't seen this movie
That's
in
just
years.
natural, Lori.
And I remember like she's gaunt because the baby's like eaten her from the inside, which really is a very pro-choice scene. You should be allowed to choose not to do that.
Yeah.
And she looks dead. It looks like an autopsy scene. It's awful. And
Yeah,
but
gross.
she's like, no, I don't watch scary movies.
She's human until she has the baby, right?
Yeah, because she basically dies in childbirth, and then they.
So he still
turn
has
her.
Apparently.
motility.
Yeah, they hand wave that away.
Okay.
They're just like, I don't know.
Life finds a way.
It's got to have happened before. I was thinking
Darla.
that it's kind of unfair that some of them are mad at him for dating a live person, because like it seems like vampires is a small dating pool. They're very insular. They probably don't have an app for
No.
themselves. So who
OnlyFangs.
Name of the episode. Oh, bless. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Here comes the human.
Yeah.
Ah, so good.
I wanted to talk about how you can contribute Kristen Stewart being nominated for an Oscar to 9/11.
Please tell us.
Pardon?
All right.
Oh, is
Was
this like
she
6 degrees
nominated
of
for an
It's like
Oscar?
6 degrees of
For Spencer,
9/11?
yeah.
What's Spencer? Oh,
So
Diana.
this is
Oh.
Okay, so Gerard Way witnessed 9/11 while living in New York City. He formed the band My Chemical Romance, which became his therapy for the PTSD of witnessing 9/11. Stephanie Meyer used My Chemical Romance's music to inspire her as she wrote the books that became Twilight. Twilight catapulted Kristen Stewart to fame. Eventually, she'd land a role in Spencer that would lead to an Academy Award nomination.
Well, would you look at that?
It's all connected.
That was, if you can't see Haley right now, she's next to the wall with some red string. And
Very good. Very good.
Indeed. I've seen that meme a lot, and I'm like, yeah, it's true.
I think Edward is probably a world-class brooder, like a high school brooding male that you're supposed to think has a still waters run deep kind of situation. There's a lot. I like a brooder. I was into brooders. I like Jared Leto in My So-Called Life, that kind of
yeah.
brooder. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You guys into a brooder?
I don't remember.
I dated a brooder once. It didn't work out.
Well, it never works out. Turns out they're kind of self-involved. Aw, brooders. That's all I think Edward has going for him, by the way, that and all the money.
I think he's attractive. I'm Team Edward.
Yeah, he definitely is attractive.
I don't see how you can be Team Edward when Jacob builds a whole engine for her, and all Edward does is stalk her and gaslight her.
Jacob is 100% more fun. Like, they actually do stuff together. But, I mean, there's some... Well, it's
The
funny.
heart wants what the heart wants, I guess.
I was about to say it's pheromones, but presumably Edward doesn't really have any pheromones.
Yeah.
But something draws them together, though.
D.
Yeah.
What?
Something is drawing them together.
She
I
wants
like
that D so bad, and he's like, no.
Well, for her, it's hormones, and for him, it's the heroin blood.
The heroin blood, yeah. To be fair, I am 50% more Team Jacob when he's got short hair.
oh, yeah.
Cute.
Yeah. Yeah, when he takes off his shirt and has short hair.
It's not really his hair. It's
Yeah.
the wigginess of it. It's not, for me, it's not the length, it's the wigginess.
I do like later when they have that scene in the tent, and Jacob and Edward
Oh, and he's warm.
almost decide they could be friends, but then they don't.
Yeah.
That's
Very
like,
cute.
That's like 7 movies later. Amy. But in your defense, in series, I often have no idea what happened in what. So it's all fair game. Like, for
Oh, no, I
example,
knew it was later.
For example, in this movie, I was surprised when they didn't get married at the end. I was like, when's the wedding?
Oh, yeah.
And then I was like, oh.
No, they just stop on the daddy-daughter dance.
the gazebo.
She had a broken leg. Okay, there's some things that I think are objectively good in this movie. And the scene at prom where she's like, I'm ready, change me. And she leans her neck back and he's like, right here. And she's like, yes, do it. And then he just like gives her a little kiss on the neck. So funny.
Cute.
I laughed so hard. I actually thought that was very funny.
I thought the scene where they have the when she's Porky Pig in it and they share their first kiss or whatever. I thought that scene was kind of hot.
I like when she walked into the prom and mouthed to Anna Kendrick that her boobs looked great.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
Anna Kendrick mouths back, I know, right? It's so funny. I love it so much. Anna Kendrick is such a little ray of sunshine.
I also really like the scene where Edward drives Bella to high school for the first time, and they're getting out of the Volvo, which is apparently a very sexy car, and he has his arm around her and he looks
so
all
cute.
proud. It's very cute.
It is cute.
This movie is
He's all
not
giddy.
It's not amazing cinema, but it's so likable.
Sure.
Yeah, and every now and then I really think it portrays people well. Like the your boobs look great thing was like almost the first time that you see Bella act like a normal person, like a normal interaction with a friend.
Yeah. Yes. I thought I don't like K-Stu's performance in this really. Like she's very wooden.
I don't like it, but I have a feeling it's what she was instructed to
Yes.
do.
And she was a child. She was 17. Yeah.
Well, I was but for all the low affect she has in this movie, her physical acting is really good. Like she does a lot of interesting things with her body, and she makes it look very human.
I was trying to think about it because I know a lot of people don't like her performance in particular in this movie, but I was trying to imagine what would work. Like if this doesn't work, how could you make a Bella better?
Inflection?
Well, I know, but like she's kind of a weird downer person.
Just the line delivery to me is just very, very flat.
I have a
don't know.
feeling that
And her face never changes.
it's along the same lines of Elizabeth Berkley, who I will defend with my very life in Showgirls, where she understood the assignment. The assignment was just not great.
Yeah.
I think she was doing what she was asked to do. And like Bella she's a very awkward character in the book.
never liked Kristen Stewart in anything.
This is true. And I think you haven't seen her in like a lot of
But I
want to
go see that new one.
That was great. So
I've heard it's good.
I created a list of things that she's great in because I know that you don't like
Let's
her.
hear it.
Love Lies Bleeding, which I just saw, was fantastic.
Okay.
And Haley
Directed by
reviewed it
Rose
for
Glass.
Nerds of a Feather.
Yeah, it was great. Crimes of the Future, a David Cronenberg movie, was fantastic.
Oh, man, I will not watch that.
Personal Shopper is sad but good. Clouds of Sils Maria with Juliette Binoche is fantastic.
I've never seen any of these.
Yeah, because now she's 34 years old and like winning nominations for Oscars.
I would never make the argument that she's not good.
You just
I
don't like her.
just haven't liked her in things I've seen, but
Yeah.
I haven't seen her in much.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
so-
not like I seek her stuff out.
Yeah.
So.
That goes back to 2014. So
Which one?
yeah, Underwater was
Underwater.
fun. Yeah. And she has that queer ghost hunting show.
What's a queer ghost hunting
It's called
show?
Living for the Dead. and
What?
It's so fun. Yeah.
What's it on?
I forget, but I watched it all around Halloween. So she's not really in it a lot. She's the narrator and the producer, but 5 queer people go around ghost hunting. It's fantastic. It's really heartwarming.
I love it.
I need you
Is
to
it
text
the
me
Fab
a
Five.
a list of Kristen Stewart things I need to consume.
Is it the Phantom 5?
It is a very silly movie, and they're always like, who's the one person that lived here? Joe. Joe's the ghost. But it's fun to take a gummy and watch and laugh. So
I would like to discuss the dialogue in this film.
Okay, I have some dialogue I like, so let's start
Okay,
with
this is interesting.
what you have.
Did you get contacts? It's the fluorescence.
Oh, it's so funny.
I was thinking about, does he mean fluorescence plural or fluorescence SCE?
The lights.
He means the lights. in
What
there.
is SCE, but it's the lights.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't even say hi to me. Hi.
Hi. But that is counterpoint. That is what a teenager would say to
It's
another
fair. That is
teenager.
fair.
He'd be like, "Oh, well, hi then."
This is the skin of a killer, Bella. I think my favorite one, though, is I can't ever lose control about you because it's so Angel. I mean, my monkey man, you're my own personal brand of heroin. You better hold on tight, Spider Monkey.
What is it with them in the monkey line?
I don't know.
Hold
just
on
being
tight,
cutesy.
Spider Monkey, and then Rosalie, when she says, "My monkey man," it adds nothing. It's like an aside. It's very strange.
You think I regret saving you? I can see that you do.
Hi.
All right, what did you like?
Okay, so I don't have the exact line, but when Bella is kind of doing that thing where, what's the movie where the character like yells at the animal to make it run away?
Oh, Harry and the Hendersons.
No, it's
Is it Old Yeller?
Yeller.
I was thinking it was Old Yeller, but then Old Yeller has rabies. So does he like...
Oh, no, it's White Fang.
White Fang. Okay,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So it's like that, but with Charlie, when she has to make Charlie think that she's mad at him and she's running away. And then she's like, I have to get out of here. I'll get trapped like Mom. And I was like, oh my God.
That was the one thing.
It was,
That's true.
oh my God.
It was the one thing.
And that is like the most cutting thing that a person would and could say.
And little Charlie is just following her around going,
Oh my
I just got
God.
you back. Like, give me a chance.
I
And you're just
know.
like,
He is also, though, he is doing a terrible job because she
I
is
know.
always covered in stitches and bruises and he doesn't notice.
He's never there.
But I still like him.
My
He's an
sister
absent parent.
texted me once about Charlie because he reminds her of our dad because my dad is a very stern, not a big talker, but Charlie expresses his love through action. So he's like, I went and got you new tires.
Yes.
So little things
that's
like
nice.
that.
He has a
So that is
service
nice.
love language.
And then the other one is when she says, I think it's a pretty good line when she says, how long have you been 17? And he says, a while. I think
That was on my pan list, not my.
Oh, I think that was a good cross-examination question. How old are you? 17? Oh, yeah. Well, how long have
Yeah.
you been 17? Isn't it true? You've been 17 since 1918.
Yeah.
Isn't it true, Mr. Cullen?
Yeah.
I think this is pretty good.
Bella is very insightful in that moment.
Yeah.
There's a whole
She
montage.
knew the right
There's
question
a
to
whole
ask.
montage.
And it's hard to know the right question to ask,
Sometimes you
especially
can't
when
know.
you're tongue-tied and love-struck and also maybe about to be killed and eaten.
It's definitely not Aaron Sorkin dialogue for sure. I think I'm just willing, again, I'm very forgiving of movies in general, but knowing that this is a silly romantasy, I'm just like, yeah, wave your shitty freak flag dialogue.
Yeah, I mean, why not? I really enjoyed watching this.
Oh, I did too. I had a great time. I do think it's wildly unfair that Bella screams at Jacob, "Are you stalking me?" or calls him a stalker when she's on his land, and also Edward's been stalking her the whole movie.
Well, I think she's flirting when she says that. She's like, "What are you stalking me or something?"
It's a little unfair.
But his riposte is really good. You're on my res.
That's right.
And I was like, that's right, colonizer.
This is a good transition. I was reading about the Quileute?
Quileute?
Quileute? I was reading about the Quileute people, and there's a fascinating entry in Wikipedia about it. Let me read you some of it.
Yes.
Stephanie Meyer's Twilight series features Jacob Black and other werewolf characters, all fictional members of the Quileute tribe and residents of La Push. It has been heavily criticized for its negative depiction of native people and culture and the incorrect telling of Quileute stories. The Quileute tribe received no compensation from Twilight, despite their name and culture being appropriated. The Burke Museum created a website to combat all the misconceptions and educate fans about the truth of the Quileute tribe. Also, historian David Immervar posits that the Fremen in Frank Herbert's Dune are based on Herbert's interactions with Henry Martin, or Han Da Sho, a fisherman who lived on the Quileute reservation in La Push.
What?
Isn't that cool?
Okay, so see, men do like Twilight.
Time is a flat circle. Why should you do that, though? Why do you take, like, a real people and then muck around with their business?
She probably just picked the ones that lived in the area she
could've
wanted to
just been
use.
Fremen.
I think sometimes people don't realize what they write becomes famous.
She might not have thought Native Americans were people. There's that whole thing.
I did have fun opening up Google Maps and being like, La Push, that's
Oh,
where we
yeah,
live on
it
the
is
beach. And
fun
then
to
Port
look at.
Angeles is where we'll go shopping.
How about the guy who's in charge of the yearbook and the newspaper, and he's like, La Push, baby, La Push. He's like John Ralphio.
So I also wondered why it's called La Push, and it's because it's a bastardization of La Bouche, which means the mouth, because it's like where the water comes in.
Okay. I would like to posit that there's a meta-narrative in the Twilight universe.
Ooh.
And it is that maybe the epidemic of serial killers in the Pacific Northwest is actually vampires. Because at the beginning of New Moon, there's a voiceover and it's like a news anchor. And they're like, another hiker has been killed in the forest of blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, holy shit.
Well, one of them was definitely Ted Bundy.
Maybe he was a vampire. Why wouldn't he be?
That's a good point.
But anyway.
What about Foot Beach? Maybe that's down to
Foot
vampires.
Beach.
Oh my God. Beach. I'm just saying, I think it's a meta-narrative in the text. I'm not
listen.
saying it's true. I'm saying I think it's a meta-narrative. I think Stephanie Meyer is suggesting it. I think that's all I got.
Chekhov's bear spray. I had that written down in my notes. Chekhov's bear spray.
Oh, I was really surprised that had any effect on James.
I don't know that it really did. It was just more like
More like it startled him.
Yeah. It's like when you're washing your spoon in the sink and it shoots water at you.
I hate that. I thought it was the
happens every time. I put on Instagram today, there's a video of Lenny Kravitz at a Buc-ee's, and he's just like, it is the best thing I saw all week. But one of the comments was, I for real thought that was Laurent walking around Buc-ee's. It was so good.
Laurent is like Lenny Kravitz with the leather jacket and no shirt on under.
He's like if Lenny Kravitz and Louis from Interview with a Vampire had a baby.
Oh, we were going to talk about our favorite vampire media.
Oh, that's right. Ooh, that's a toughie.
It's so fun, though.
Oh, you guys go first.
Okay, I got to find one. All right. My 3, and this was hard. It was really hard. All right. My first is, this one is lesser known. It's called My Best Friend is a Vampire from 1987, and it has Robert Sean Leonard from Dead Poet Society.
Okay.
I love that one. I grew up watching that one. And then I love True Blood, especially season 1 is one of my favorites.
True Blood's good.
And I really like The Hunger with David Bowie and Susan Sarandon.
I have never seen The Hunger.
And Catherine Deneuve. Oh, so good.
Oh, what about your favorite Only Lovers Left Alive?
I like that one
love
too,
That
yeah.
one. Tilda as a vampire.
But that one is less about blood and stuff, and we're just like, I got to read these books. My boyfriend's depressed.
yeah,
Which
I thought for sure you were going to pick that one.
I do love that one, but if I was basing this on what I would, if I could only watch 3 ever again.
I have to go with my heart, and my heart wants Anne Rice because
that was tough.
that was my first foray into fantasy.
I don't think I've ever seen Interview with a Vampire.
Have you read? You should read the books.
Yeah,
They're
I
actually pretty
have.
good.
I DNF'd it with like 10 pages left.
Oh, really? I read all of those
The
books
movie
when I
is
was
great.
like 13.
I really liked Memnoch the Devil and Servant of the Bones.
The
I
later
read
ones,
those. I really
yeah,
like those.
are good.
She writes vampire as well,
And I have to go with Buffy,
obviously.
obviously.
I almost put
Obs.
Buffy the movie my favorite.
And What We Do in the Shadows.
Good choices.
So good.
And I have to honorable mention this one movie that I cannot remember the name of that Nicholas Hoult is in, where he
Oh, Renfield.
no,
Nope.
it's not Renfield. It's where he played.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. It's a zombie movie.
Oh, that's a zombie movie. Never
Oh,
mind.
yeah.
Never mind. My brain just did
What
a
is
little
that called?
did a little glitch. I can't remember.
It's so good. Pardon? Oh, Warm Bodies.
Bodies.
That's
That's
right.
right,
I love that movie, and I have
It's so cute.
I have like very deep feminist thoughts about that movie.
Aw. Well, and I feel like it kind of got just nobody ever talked about
I
it.
know.
That's very weird. Yeah.
And my one sentence of deep feminist thought about that is that ultimately the world is saved when a man sees a woman as a person instead of a commodity. And that's not really a spoiler, I don't think.
Oh.
I love that movie.
I will say that if you choose What We Do in the Shadows, you sort of choose every vampire
That's true.
franchise
That's true.
because it lives in the same universe as all of them.
That's Blade shows up.
Blade. That's so funny. Okay. I was just thinking of movies. I thought I was limited to movies incorrectly. So, gosh, the ones I have are the original Buffy movie. I love it.
Oh, it's so good.
So
Paul
good.
Rubens is so
It's so
funny in
good.
it.
It's so
Remember
good.
how he dies for like 10 minutes at the end, and then like halfway through the credits, he comes back and he's like, "Ugh." Like, he was doing funny things in the credits before Marvel movies ever
That's right.
existed.
It's got a good training montage, too.
So good. And then Girl Walks Home Alone at Night. Have
That
you
one's
guys
good.
seen that?
Oh, yeah, that's good.
really good. And Vampire's Kiss with Nicolas Cage
Oh,
and
yeah.
my wife Jennifer
Cannot.
Beals.
We'll never.
Why?
Eats that roach. Can't watch it.
Oh,
He literally ate that roach.
Roach Warning. I forgot about
Can
it.
somebody
can't
make
watch
an
it.
edit for Amy?
I cannot watch it.
It's so bad. It is so bad.
What's that movie with the little girl?
Let the right one in?
Yes,
Yeah,
that's
those
so
both of them are good.
good.
There's like the Swedish one and the American
They're
one.
both really good.
And then a fourth one is Death by Temptation, and that's
I know
Death
that.
DEF. Yeah, it's like I think like little known. So we rented it at Videodrome, and it had a sticky note on it from the staff there that said "fucking awesome, watch it." So I was like, okay, and it
Will
was
do.
actually really good, and the vampire aspect of it is like it's fine. But what's really good about it are the relationships between the humans.
The real vampire was the friend you made along the
That's
way.
exactly right. Who then got eaten by the sexy vampire lady at the bar. Okay. Special segment, memeable moments. Take it away, Haley.
So I did a little intro. There were so many memes originating from Twilight because of its widespread popularity and some of its more dramatic and quirky elements. The series, both in its books and movies, has garnered a dedicated fan base, leading to extensive discussions, parodies, and memes across countless online platforms. Many scenes and quotes, even the worst and most cringy, have become iconic and memorable, making them ripe for meme creation and sharing among fans. Some of the best memes from this first one are usually centered around the clunky dialogue. So we've kind of talked about this. The spider monkey, the skin of a killer. The amount of people on TikTok especially that have recreated that scene in like the Pacific Northwest is like
It's so good.
Every single one, I laugh. It's so good.
They're all gold.
The baseball scene.
Oh, the baseball scene.
Have I sent y'all the video of the party where people dressed as the people, and they're like, I think Bella's going to get the drunkest tonight, and they're all wearing the outfits.
No, have you guys seen the one of the people in Salem dressed as the baseball scene?
No.
They're so good.
The leg lift.
Yeah. One of our favorites is a TikTok creator named Yasmin Sahid. She's
so good.
She's gone viral multiple times for impersonating Jasper's dead-eye stare, and it's so good. And recently, the actual actor who played Jasper, did a video for her and with her.
That's the one. That was one of the ones I sent earlier. It was so cute. He's like, I'm just trying to go to the bathroom.
Yeah. And then one of my favorite creators on TikTok, Justin Darnell Comedy, he does Appalachian TikTok or Appalachian Twilight. I know what you are. Go on then, say it. Vampire.
Vampire.
How long you been? 17. A while. It's so good.
He goes, a month of Sundays.
Yeah.
It's like, I get it. Thanks.
Yeah. I watched Twilight with you guys a couple years ago for the first time because I was on TikTok so much and I wanted to see the meme primary sources. And I would argue that Twilight has become kind of what the Star Wars prequels are to people on the internet. Like, you take the worst parts of it and now you make them good and now you actually kind of like it. It's weird.
I feel
we were talking about this last night, so I wish I could remember exactly what it was in the class I was in college. So I was 19 years old in some literature class, and I remember the teacher talking about something that happens after a work is published, in a way rewriting the work.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what's happened with
Absolutely.
Twilight, because you can't watch Twilight now and not watch it with the context of all of the memes that have sprung up around it. It's
Exactly,
impossible to come to this new.
Yeah.
So now, whatever Stephanie Meyer wanted you to watch or the director wanted you to watch is no longer what you watch. You watch what TikTok and what Twitter wanted you to watch.
Yeah.
And it showed. So I flipped the letterbox comments so I could see the very first ones, and the very first ones were from 2011.
Oh.
And they were
interesting.
all
Yeah.
almost uniformly negative, right? They were all taking it very seriously, and they were like, "This movie sucks. This is terrible." Blah blah blah. But then, as you keep going, you can see the tone of the reviews change as social media
That's
becomes
so
a thing. If you
interesting.
kind of flip forward a couple of years, you can kind of watch this thing change a lot, which I think is and I think also it benefits from the tweens of 2008 getting on the internet 10 years later or whatever, or not 10 years later and changing the conversation about the movie. It's really interesting to see.
I really love that because I like being able to pull at least one good thing from every movie I watch.
Sure.
And this one I'm just there's so many beautiful things.
It's everything.
Yeah.
So because I let Netflix autoplay or Hulu autoplay and I saw the beginning of New Moon, there's the portrait of the Volturi with
those queens.
David Tennant's friend. I can't remember. Michael
Sheen.
Michael Sheen, David Tennant's friend, on the balcony looking down at everybody, and I was just balled up laughing and thinking of
so many memes.
The thousands and thousands of memes of that I've seen. And then I forgot about this. So Kevin was out when I was watching these, and he came home and I mentioned that to him, and then he goes straight to YouTube and pulls up the scene from the end of Breaking Dawn where Michael Sheen sees Renesmee and goes, "No." I just feel like I could just throw up from laughing so hard.
My favorite meme from that scene when he's on the balcony is eggs when they're in their special little tray at the top of the refrigerator.
Sometimes I sit and try and think about why memes are funny, and I'm it's just the whole thing.
They just tap on this universal experience, and it's the absurdity of life. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's
I
just
love it.
It lets you laugh at things, and it's
And
we
makes
need it.
movies better. It
100%,
makes
yes,
a
it
bad
does.
to mediocre movie into a good movie. If you just watch Twilight with no context, you'd be like, all right, well, that was kind of stupid. But you watch it now and it's well, this movie is great. This movie is hilarious. It's almost like a comfort movie.
Yeah. It is. I think
it kind of was for me. And it was almost just because it's so incredibly familiar and then also has all these layers of funny things, and those two things together, I just felt happy the whole time I was watching it. Even though it's kind of about abuse, I was still this is so much fun.
I think part of its enduring legacy too is that the soundtracks are always really good.
Mm-hmm.
The first one isn't the best. It's got that Muse song, but it's also got Iron and Wine, and then the second movie's got Bon Iver and St. Vincent.
I literally wrote down that I think not the soundtrack,
The
but
do-do-do-do-do-do.
the movie's theme
Bella's lullaby.
Is Bella's little
bad. And the sparkle chimes.
Oh, that was so funny. The
I
little
had
chimes
never
when
noticed
he's-
that before.
Yeah, me neither. And then when he's gleaming in the sun, it's like.
It's like out of legend.
I can't even think about it because it's such a leitmotif for the whole movie that I'm just like do-do-do-do-do-do.
Oh man, you really got it.
Yeah.
Any more memes? Any specific memes?
Those are the ones that I had because a lot of the stuff we've talked about already. It's also hard to describe memes without showing photos.
It's true.
So,
it's
yeah.
true.
I like it whenever they put Robert Pattinson behind anybody going, say it. Say it out loud.
If you want to have a good couple of minutes, just go to the social media platform of your choice and type in Twilight memes. And people are still updating them for like current events. There's ones from 10 years ago.
It's great.
Okay. Feminist favorite, Haley.
Oh, I got this. It's a little contentious. I said it's LOL. Bella's mom choosing to live her life instead of raising her moody ass daughter.
Amy.
Mine's a tie between Bella's truck and her giving the boobs thumbs up.
Yeah.
Women supporting women.
Absolutely.
So mine is related to Haley's. Mine is, I like that Bella's mother seems to have gotten a no-fault divorce from her father.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. She's like, I don't want to fucking live here. And also, why are you always drinking a bunch of beer while you clean your gun?
Yeah. Why won't you talk to me?
I'm out. Okay. Misogynist moment. Haley.
This is brief, and I don't really think it qualifies as misogyny, but I think it's problematic. In the first part of the movie, a guy runs up and kisses her in the lunchroom and then runs off.
Yeah, it was weird.
Oh, I didn't even catch that.
Yeah.
I watched it twice.
I think that counts.
Yeah.
Consent.
Secondly, I think Ed is a little creepy and controlling, but he does seem to respect her.
Ed.
Ed.
I genuinely did not know what you were talking about. But it is true. He's
My
an
mind
old man.
went right to our flag being stuck.
When I was typing, I was like, why am I abbreviating this? Oh, well.
Ed and Jake.
Aw.
Amy, what do you have?
If I can't use the gaslighting, the actual gaslighting that happens in this film, I know you stopped that truck. No, you didn't. You didn't see what you think you saw.
I just have to
adrenaline.
forgive him because I wouldn't want to tell someone I just met I was
Right.
a vampire either.
So if I can't use the gaslighting, then I'm going to go with the whole thing being a very thinly veiled abstinence propaganda.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go with that.
Yeah, I think the most liberal thing about it is that mom got a no-fault divorce. As I was thinking about it, I was like, okay, right on.
I mean, Edward being like, my soul is done, but I'm going to protect yours, you flower of a
honestly,
woman.
After reading 53% of 50 Shades of Grey, I think this was just like pleasant.
I know.
Maybe it's good that I read that before. I watched the movie.
Yeah, too. I had very warm feelings toward Edward. I was like, well, he doesn't want to hurt her, which is definitely an improvement.
He's actually not controlling.
He's trying really hard to not hurt her.
Yeah.
He's failing, but he's trying hard not to.
I had a pretty fun Google of Twilight versus 50 Shades, and I read a couple of listicles comparing the characters in the two books. It was a lot of fun.
Interesting.
I
I
bet
recommend
that is
it,
fun.
actually.
Okay, so my misogynist moment is that Mustache Dad was 42 when this was released, and the mom was 36. These people are our age or younger, and frankly, I'm offended.
I was thinking about this when you said that in the
Oh my
chat.
God.
We could be Bella's. We're Bella's parents.
Fun fact, those are the exact ages my parents were when I was born.
Well, Bella's mother
was
is younger than all of us.
When I was 17, my dad was 38.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
it's like,
insulting.
I watched this movie and I feel like I'm supposed to identify with Bella.
No, we're old now.
No, I'm not.
No, this is why we all are attracted to Charlie now.
That's true.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm a little attracted to Carlisle.
Carlisle's a handsome man.
He seems very competent.
Peter Facinelli, he was in that movie Can't Hardly
I
Wait.
think he's cute.
I actually thought he was really cute at the beginning of New Moon when he's on the balcony with David Tennant's friend, and he's got like a much better looking wig. It suits his
He did
coloring
need a new
better.
wig. He did need a new wig.
It suits his coloring. It's not slicked back. It was nice and like lush and wavy. Anyway, that wasn't really misogynist, but it offended me, so I decided to wedge it in there. Boob talk.
Boob thumbs up. Still for me.
Yeah, that's the only one, I think.
Okay.
It's pretty chaste.
I'm excited. I have two.
Oh.
And they're awkward fits. So my first one is me doing the boob talking. Rosalie is 37 years old, and that ass could launch 1,000 ships, and I am here for it.
That bod, though.
I mean,
That
woman, whew,
Keeping it tight.
yeah, she has every right to be as mean as she is. Looking like that?
She could ruin my credit.
I know.
Come step on my neck,
know.
Rosalie.
Strike me out, baby. My monkey man. And then my other one is, Haley, I bet you'll know what this is. Tit soak.
Tit soak. I don't think I know that.
All right. Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to phone a friend. Kevin, would you hop on Amy's mic and explain what tit soak is?
Tit soak.
And Amy, if you need to exclaim, you can share my mic.
Do you want the full story or just the X?
Full story. We're going wild. This is Hugo Girls Gone Wild.
Yeah. Well, so you know how on Instagram and Facebook or whatever, you just get like random things that don't. Anyway, so I got this
Suggested post.
Suggested posts. I got this like random thing of Twilight cookies, like cookies decorated with Twilight things. I don't know why.
Because it was in the same room as Lori.
Doesn't know why.
And some of the cookies said tit soak on them. So but it was in the Twilight font. So it was like very clearly like this is supposed to be a Twilight thing. And I was like, well, this is just some AI generated garbage because what's this tit soak? And then I looked in the comments and everyone was like, only true fans know tit soak. And I was like, what the hell is that? And so I looked it up, and apparently it's like the Twilight fan lingo shorthand for "this is the skin of a killer."
Oh, you Googled tit soak. Woo, that was brave.
Tit soak. Did you use an incognito window?
He did the skin of it. I was looking at the subreddit for Twilight memes, and the little image for it is the golden onion, which is what they get in the chemistry class.
Oh, that was
the
in my
biology
little
class.
my funny things notes. Where are my funny little? I had a list of little things like that where like they don't actually talk about it, but the lab teacher is like, golden onion, and then at the end you just barely see at the bottom of the frame that she's carrying the golden onion.
I didn't even notice that. It's so cute.
All right.
I was not very noticing.
As we discussed, I have nothing for fantastical food, so you guys take it away.
Blood.
Well, yeah.
There's an interesting scene where she's eating her garden burger, and it's talked about online. The way that she does the ketchup is like this.
Oh, you're right. What?
And then she shakes it around and then puts it on the
It doesn't
table.
make any sense.
Like it's a maraca or something. Like, what are you doing? That? Why is the top up while you're shaking it?
I also feel bad for her dad's poor cholesterol. He eats steak and cobbler every day. All right. The scene, people have dissected the scene where she goes over to the Cullens' house for dinner.
This is what I was going to talk about.
Yeah, and it's so funny because they don't eat. And so not only have they bought all this food and she's already eaten.
The cutlery.
The
pans.
Did they have to go buy a dishwasher? Like, who knows? And then in the background, there's 4 baguettes. How much bread do they think she was going to... It's like the tampons and the space thing. They're making a dish with pancetta. I'm going to assume it's carbonara, but they'd have to buy spoons.
I mean, they did even Italian.
They did a good job putting the oil in the pan.
Oh, and
it went great.
Yeah, I have a story. Fun fact, the actress who plays Rosalie is wearing gloves in the scene because she kept cutting herself, even though they were using like sugar glass. So if you look closely, she's wearing like
I noticed
gloves.
she was wearing gloves.
Yeah, it's because she kept being like, shit.
I thought it was a
Poor
look.
thing.
Yeah.
Oh, she was really dedicated to the role.
There are 2 more meals that where you see Bella at lunch.
Mushroom risotto or whatever.
Well, no, that's in the second movie. When they
No,
go
he takes her to the restaurant in Port Angeles.
Oh, yeah. And yeah, she gets because it's the first thing on the menu. But there's 2 other scenes I think are fascinating. In the lunchroom one day, she just has like a half-empty bowl of watermelon, and then in the courtyard later, she has just one of those like things you put a hot dog in at a baseball stadium of celery. Doesn't make any sense. No, like the white paper.
Oh, like
square
that
plate.
paper
Maybe
boat
it's
thing.
really difficult to eat as a vegetarian at that school. Although there is that one point when he catches the apple, she's making a very nice salad.
Well, so I then researched, is Bella vegetarian? And the books, she's not. Like,
yeah, never specifically said she
interesting.
is.
yeah, she just likes like I have a tofu sandwich most days for lunch.
Like when they said, here's your garden burger, first of all, no one says that. They would say, here's your veggie burger, or
here's
you
your meal.
go.
Yeah.
Here you go.
Well, she definitely doesn't eat meat in the movie, although they do
That's
make her
true.
that Italian meal which has meat in it, but she didn't eat it.
That's true. But I think in the book that they talk about like having like chicken enchiladas or something. So
Since you reminded me of the Golden Onion Award, can I say my other two funny things? Do you have more food? No.
That's it.
More
I think
food?
No.
Okay.
I
Sorry,
think
I was
it's all
afraid
the
I interrupted you.
Nope.
So when they're at the restaurant and she's like, you can really hear what everyone's thinking. And she's like, what are they thinking? And he's like, they like focus on each person as he's saying what they're thinking. And he's like, sex, money, sex, cat.
Just the one.
And then later in the movie, I noticed that Victoria, one of the bad vampires, is wearing a "Kiss Me, I'm Irish" t-shirt. movie so much.
I want to read like the oral history of filming this movie. I bet it was fun.
Yes.
I think it benefits a lot from the fact that Catherine Hardwicke is a real weirdo.
Oh yeah.
You know?
The golden, I mean, there are definitely some little like things in here that clue you in that it's not taking itself too seriously. So there's a deleted scene for our listeners that I just showed to my two friends here. Was really surprised that Haley had never seen it. And it is what I want you to do is I want you to Google Twilight and Rain Stick. Twilight and Rain Stick.
Not tit soak.
I mean,
you can Google that if you want.
I recommend
No
an
shame.
incognito browser.
We don't kink shame here.
But you don't need to because Kevin just told you what it is. Twilight and Rainstick, and watch the deleted scene, and then let us know what you think.
I'm sitting here trying to think if that was in the book.
No. No.
Do we think K-Stu ad-libbed that?
No. 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 No way. That was premeditated. Okay. Soap stuff?
Whole movie?
Whole movie.
Yeah.
Whole movie.
Yeah.
I do have one specific. I have two. The final showdown taking place in her childhood ballet studio. I mean, like he knew where her house was. Why? Like he had to go to her house first.
Why not your old ballet studio?
How about your old ballet studio? What?
That place? Okay.
Yeah, he wanted a dramatic setting.
He wanted to use the video.
Vampires do have dramatic scenes.
Oh, they listen. They love to set up a stage.
They do.
Can you imagine a down-to-earth vampire that just wears like t-shirts? No, they got to be fancy.
Oh, that's like Guillermo's friend who works at the gas station.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and we know what happened to him.
Yeah.
Bless.
Okay, and then my other one is that Carlisle won't let Edward kill James because he seems to want Edward to like not do this bad thing, but then he sends his other three kids to do it. He's like, take care of him, boys. And then Alice runs over there and starts like menacing in front of the fire too as they're burning him.
I mean,
to
Alice
death.
is the one that like pulls his head off.
Oh yeah, Alice
love
jumps
Alice.
up and breaks his neck, and then
That's
they
right.
burn him. So I was like, why?
Why?
Why did that happen?
Because
Like
Edward's
that?
he's a little baby. So is this the first girl
But he
he's
was
ever
the
kissed?
first one that Carlisle turned.
Oh, I know.
Which is
but-
like,
yeah.
Really?
yeah, well, he's the first one he turned. I guess that doesn't necessarily mean he's the oldest vampire. It's
That's
just
true.
the earliest one.
Maybe he's got the softest heart.
I think it's like literally Carlisle's kid. Like he thinks of him as his kid.
So the other ones are less his kid,
They're his cousins.
his foster cousins.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you guys like this movie?
Yes.
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 I actually am very excited to watch the rest of them.
Oh,
Because they
yeah.
only get more and more soapy and ridiculous. The production quality goes up a little bit, but then it gets but then it goes down again.
I don't think I've ever seen the last one.
track the wigs.
Yeah.
The last one, it truly is terrifying. The birth, death, and then transformation are terrifying.
I feel like I've seen that birth,
you probably have.
but I don't think I've ever seen the whole movie.
That scene is like etched into my mind. I saw it in the movie theater.
Maybe I just saw it in the trailer.
And I was like, oh my God. I'm looking at this like gaunt dead woman on a like a veterinarian table is basically what they have her on.
So is Renesmee immortal?
I guess we don't know, do we?
I don't know much about the
When are we
later
gonna
movies.
When are we gonna get the Renesmee movie?
The spinoff.
I feel like we're probably finished. I feel like some franchises actually get put to bed. And this one might be it. But she's growing, so
I think it's time for the dark redo of it.
It would be great to see it with the girl from Wednesday. What's her name? Jessica?
Yeah. Not
Jenna Ortega. Yeah. She'd be a great Bella. A goth Bella.
okay. Star Wars or Lord of the Rings?
I thought long and hard about this, but I've decided that it's Star Wars because of the way that they use memes like prequel memes did for Star Wars.
okay. Woof.
Yeah, this was tough. I didn't really have a good answer.
It's Buffy.
It's Buffy. There we go.
I abstain.
I said it's Lord of the Rings because Edward is Gollum and Bella is his precious.
That might be the best one you've ever done, Lori. That is really good.
Okay.
Oh, and she has to be destroyed to say.
Yeah, that's true.
They have to throw her into Mount Doom.
Oh, he's also Fleet of Foot.
He is Fleet of Foot.
Who's
Oh, and he has
The
a whole
elves.
group. He's like, you can have my
Oh,
axe,
yeah.
and all the rest of them are like, and my bow.
Oh
and
yeah,
my
Kevin
axe."
did say they were kind of like elves.
The elves can like walk on the snow and he can fly
Yeah.
up trees.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
Definitely Lord of the
and they're
Rings.
unnaturally.
That is the only
good-looking.
thing that I know. No, that's the second one of two things I know about elves.
They're Fleet of Foot.
Their house is kind of like Rivendell.
I was wondering why there's so much glass if they don't like the sun.
Well, it's not that they don't like the sun. It's just that they can't go in the sun. Otherwise, everybody can tell what they are.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
like sun goes through glass pretty easily.
But they don't
Right, but
have
they're at home.
guests. Maybe they really like the sun in privacy.
I guess I assumed that and most other,
Yeah, sun doesn't seem to bother them.
yeah, usually it like burns them to death. So
Yeah.
No.
Poor you're
Guillermo.
rewriting the book on vampires.
Okay.
yeah. Also, he's always entering the house without being invited. So
Yeah, the rules are.
I
all
don't see. I
different.
don't see one bulb of garlic.
no,
No staking.
no. Yeah, holy crosses.
Yeah. Church don't come up once.
And yet, strangely, it's always there. All right. Coming up next time, The Fountains of Paradise by Arthur C. Clarke.
Woo.
And we've listed them for the next several months. You can visit our website and look at the coming up page and see our next several reads.
Hold on tight, Spider Monkey.
Please rate, review, and subscribe, my monkey man. This has been Hugo Girls Gone Wild.
It was April Fool's.
That's it.
This is the Skin of a Killer. Bye.
Bye. Titsoak.
Hugo girl. Hugo girl. Hugo girl. A hilarious podcast.
Hello.
Howdy.
Hey. You never say hi.
I know.
Hi. That's a line from the movie.
Oh.
All right, we're coming in hot.
Let's try that again.
No, that was perfect. Maybe that's the stinger.